Yeah, I got a job at Boeing in Long Beach because that was as close as I could get. Yeah. And then I would like commute up at night. I would work, engineering by day, and then I would, take the 710 trucking route from Long Beach to like the Comedy Store, and just did that for a long time till I was able to do this shit full time.
Hello, everyone. Hola, mis amigos. You're listening to Oh My God Hi, Hijo de Dios. Hola. With me, George Lopez, porque ¿sabes qué? Let's do the show, porque I got a lot of things to do. I gotta go to that dry cleaner ahí. My kid fell, se pegó la cabeza. I gotta go get some Neosporin Paul.
You know what George is?
Oh, I'm sure he's around here somewhere.
What's his name? George
Lopez. George Lopez.
Oh my God.
OMG.
OMG. Hi.
Oh my God, hi.
Hey everybody, this is producer Grant here. Just a reminder, if you like the show, if you're enjoying the show, please like, comment, subscribe on any platform you're checking it out on, whether that's on YouTube, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anything. Any engagement that we have really, really helps. We all serve the almighty algorithm these days, and any amount that you sort of interact with the show in any way just really helps us out, helps us get cooler guests for the show, helps raise the profile for the show, helps give us more content for you guys to enjoy. So thanks again for checking it out, and please enjoy the episode.
You know, it's usually the Mexicans that are late. But come on in.
I thought it was 4:30. What is it?
But come on in. You thought it was 4:30?
Yeah. My bad.
Nice to see you, man.
Fahim Anwar. How are you, man?
I'm good. It's nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure. This is an honor, man. Yeah.
We want to talk about that. Do you drink beer?
Yeah, I'll do a beer, sure.
Yeah. What kind would you like?
I'll do what you're doing.
One of these, Ricky. Ricky's our waitress. Ricky, next week you fucking heels and a fucking little skirt, right? like a Catholic girl skirt.
The first time I've done it.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Cheers, brother. Thanks for coming out.
Of course.
I'm gonna find some nice things out about you. I'll take my glass off. I don't want to take my glass off, but I will. Let's go.
Comedian.
What are you drinking in there? Just water?
Water, straight.
Fucking
Comedian Fahim Anwar joining us on the podcast today.
Pop that little fucking hose out of there.
Straight vodka.
It's like the guy's drinking like, an elixir from the fucking Himalayas. It's fucking water.
Refreshing?
Fresh. Just filled that
You know the
bad boy back
gadgets
up.
that you kids have these days. We didn't have that shit right there.
You just
What
drank
was it
from the
back
same
We
bag.
had a thermos.
Yeah.
And it was glass inside. The glass would to keep the liquid hot. And if you bounced it, it still looked great on the outside. But the glass is broken on the inside.
You're drinking glass?
So
Yeah.
it stayed. The glass was to keep it warm and cold, like it maintained the heat. But then when you would take a drink of coffee, you could hear fucking glass slide up and back.
And all those thermoses had the top. That
was
was
the
a
cup.
coffee cup. It was either to pour your coffee in or your liquid you can drink it right out of here.
Now it's all about this.
Yeah, this is the thermo flask.
All right, will you introduce our guests and stop fucking talking about your water?
My bad. Comedian Fahim Anwar joining us on the podcast today.
Hey. Yeah, good
Let me ask you a question that I'm sure your dad asked you. Why would somebody who was an engineer who had a really good job want to leave that to become a comedian? I saw a picture of your dad, by the way.
Oh, you did?
With
Where?
you and your dad. They sent it to me. And your dad looks like his dad, my dad,
All our
and his
dads.
dad.
Like every immigrant dad.
He
Just looks the same. Mustache, like Magnum PI stash.
He had you can't say porn because his was thicker. But he didn't do, he retired from porn. Like he was like, hey. But also he didn't have did your dad ever have a goatee?
No, just stash, as long as I can remember.
Why is that, do you think? Is it cultural?
I think they just grew up in an era where that was the shit, Like, think about all the hot, like, Selleck and Magnum PI. I'm trying to think, like, who
Your dad
else?
was a fan of Tom Selleck?
I don't know about Selleck. But it's of the era, you know what I mean? Like, that male machismo.
Was your dad born in the United States?
No, Afghanistan. But I feel like, don't you think that, like, that was an era where mustaches were way cooler than they are now?
I can't see any of my dad's friends with beards or anything like that.
One time my dad shaved
Trying to
his
remember.
mustache.
He did?
It was fucking
Why? Because he
the
fucked it
weirdest
up?
shit.
Because he was trimming it and he fucked it up and he said, oh, I got to shave it.
Maybe. But I think sometimes you just want to change. So he's like clean shaven.
Is it religious? It's not religious.
That'd be funny.
mustache.
Listen, man,
man.
you guys,
I've seen
you guys
beard.
blow yourselves up. So I think my mustache is on the way over.
No, we don't do that anymore, man. We don't. Yeah. White people took over with the AR-15. They just sort of. They're like Steph Curry. They took it over.
But you guys never blew themselves up?
They never blew each other.
Like,
blew each
did your
other
dad ever blow himself up?
No, not him, but other people in the neighborhood.
No, yeah.
So in our culture, if my grandfather would trim it, and if he nicked it too close, he would shave it off. And I'd be like, "What's the matter? You fucked it up." And he goes, "Yeah." But it was just like that was their working thing forever, like the mustache.
I can't grow mine that well. Like
Yeah,
it'll
you
come.
can.
It'll come in all wispy. It's okay when it's short. But if I let it grow for longer than a week, I just look like a malnourished Taliban soldier. Like, it's no good.
But it's okay for you to say it. All right.
Hey, I didn't blow myself up, though. I'm still around. I'm still...
So, were you born in the United States?
Yeah, I was born in Seattle.
Okay.
Like Seattle area.
Give me a little bit of your you and your mother and your father still married?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was an arranged marriage?
No.
No, I think you know that.
Yeah.
You know what? And Latinos are all arranged. The girl lives across the street. You fucking married.
I've always had this thought, like, Americans and like white people will take so much from like Indian culture, and they'll be like, like yoga and all that stuff and gurus and stuff. And when it comes to like arranged marriages, they go, "That's fucking crazy." But everything else, they just like a la
What
carte
are they
it.
taking back? They're taking like incense. They take the whole
everything. They're like
peace, the yoga, the hot yoga, the affirmations.
Yeah.
And beliefs. Where did your mother and father meet?
They knew each other in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then
everything. Listen, if you want to talk about a guy who's a comedian, you have to go back to
You get the history, the
you have to
origin
go back to
story.
the-
Oh yeah,
I always do.
It's a common thread. Yeah.
I always do. And what did your father do?
he is an engineer at Boeing.
Okay. And what did he
So-
expect you to do?
I think
What would have made him happy?
doctor, 100% doctor. They always say doctor, lawyer, engineer is kind of like the lowest rung, But the thing is, I don't know a lot of Afghan, like lawyer, they always say lawyer, but it's always doctor. Doctor is what they want.
And when you were growing up, what did you feel in your heart that you would have been happy doing? Before any comedy, fuck all that bullshit. Like when you were going to school, you were 10, and they go, what did I want to be?
When I was a kid, I wanted to be in the NBA.
Hell yeah.
I think every kid, no matter what your race is, whatever your ethnicity, you want to be in the NBA. And everyone just allows you to have that dream for a while, even though genetically you're not going to change your cards that way. But I remember my uncle, he's a cardiologist.
But he wanted to be in the NBA?
Nah, he heard me saying that I was going to be in the NBA and I'm going to be in the
What did he
NBA.
say?
And he goes, "You're not going to be in the NBA, you're a midget." It was just like this harsh reality that everyone had been kid glovesing it my whole life and not shattering my dream, and just realizing in that Dodge Caravan ride home that wait, there's a chance I'm not going to be in the NBA.
In your heart, you were like, I could do that.
Oh my God, yeah.
Nobody told you couldn't.
Well, when you're a little kid, no one's gonna. It's like Santa. They're gonna let you believe that,
Who were your favorite players?
Well, I grew up in Seattle, so Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, those are my guys. Sometimes I'll go on YouTube and watch old Sean Kemp.
And how old are you?
38.
Why did they leave Seattle? The Supersonics.
Well, it was like a bait and switch. They made it seem like they were going to be kept. The Howard Schultz, the Starbucks guy, so he sold the team to, I forgot what the guy's name is, some Oklahoma City business guy, and they made it seem like it was going to stay in the city, and then he ended up taking them to Oklahoma. And so we were all.
You don't have a professional team out there, right?
Nah,
No.
we haven't had it for a longest time. We're due for one.
When did the Supersonics win the NBA championship?
With Lenny
in the
Wilkins.
70s?
Yeah.
Listen, don't say it a long time.
Well, for me, I know.
For
yeah.
you.
Well, yeah.
But they had Downtown Freddie Brown, and they had Sigma. Those guys
79.
I was a senior in high school.
Nice. Who's your team?
The Lakers.
Nice. That makes sense. That checks out.
Yeah, but I was a fan of basketball. Supersonics were good. They had good teams.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we took the Bulls to the finals. I mean, I felt like that was going to be it, but Jordan.
And who were your favorite players growing up? Those guys?
Yeah, Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, Jordan.
Did you ever see Michael Jordan play basketball?
No, that's my one regret. My two regrets is not seeing Jordan play live and never seeing a Michael Jackson concert. because like I loved Michael growing up, and just to know that I will never be able, like him and Prince. Remember when Prince did a run in LA? He did like 50 shows at like the Hollywood Bowl or somewhere, and like really cheap tickets.
I introduced him to the first night.
Whoa.
We were friends, he and I.
Wow. Yeah, I wish
And I
could've.
testified in Michael Jackson's trial in 2005.
Jeez.
We'll get to that if you want to.
Holy shit.
And he slammed
Just
dunk
someone
on
who's like
Michael
one
Jordan.
degree away from Michael. This is like.
Did you
a
stay at
treat
Michael's
for me.
house?
Yeah, and he fucked me.
That's how you gain entry?
Before I got in the house, we were in the movie theater place. So, are you musical? Do you play it?
Nah, here's the thing. What I like, I feel like when you're growing up, you think you can create music. Like, oh, I'm gonna make beats, and then you realize at a certain age, you go.
But did you? Were you in the 38? So, did you? How did you get? Were you and your friends like trying to be DJs and all?
Nah, so I mean, let's see. What I was in orchestra and I would play bass.
See, so you're creative, yeah.
Kind of. I mean, my first performance, I would do Michael Jackson at talent shows. So I would put on the Billie Jean shit, and I was like good at it when I was a kid. Maybe they're just clapping some kid and it was cute. But I thought it was pretty
but
good.
it takes balls, man, to go up there in front of the student body.
Yeah, you know.
And did you put the glove on
Of
too?
course. Come on, fedora, sparkly glove. My mom made me a sparkly glove. And I would always do it before the ASB elections because it would always happen like right around then. And then people would love me from the Michael Jackson dance, and then they would vote for me. And that's how I would win.
Did you powder your face or did you go natural?
I do white face. Just, I'm going all
Did you or
out.
not?
No.
You had the sequin jacket?
I had, yeah, you know.
You had the loafers? You try to keep it as real. There were high water pants?
Yeah, totally, man. White socks, black slacks.
And
Sort
what
of
did you do? You did the
Billie
whole thing-
Jean. That's the only song to do.
That is the only song to do.
Come on, the whole build up where the beat drops and you got the fedora
And then you take it up and
you whip it, of course. That song and performance is a masterclass in like building tension. He's not doing a lot at the beginning.
What about that Quincy Jones said, I don't like that long introduction?
He said that?
Yeah, he said you got to get rid of it. This thing is what's useless. Dun, 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 dun. He's like, what are we doing? This is bullshit. What the fuck is that?
No, it's
and he's
just
like,
the
hey, we're
build-up.
leaving it in.
I know.
And they bumped heads.
Well, it's almost like trance music. There'll be a fucking like minute and a half lead up to the beat dropping, and people love that shit.
Did the Jacksons tour in Seattle? Like,
I don't know. I think I was too young. I don't know. Just,
he might have, 'cause he stopped. I see he stopped playing. His last concert was 2003, 1. I went to the Super Bowl in 1993, and he was
Holy
in
shit.
Pasadena, the Buffalo Bills and the Dallas Cowboys, and he performed at halftime.
Is that the one where like the Michael double comes up on the top of the
four
jumbotron?
guys, yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Is that the one too where he pops out on stage
And stands
people
there
are
for 5 minutes.
Yes,
Yeah.
he doesn't move a muscle, and people are
then
cheering
he-
for. And then he takes his.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan as well.
So I love that performance. And at the Comedy Store, when we would do open mic, sometimes you used to do crazy off the wall shit because who cares? It's 3 minutes, you know. One time I went up and did that like Michael Jackson. So I just had the mirrored sunglasses and I had them play sounds of applause.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even the crowd didn't even have to applaud. So I would just be up there, and I had the CD playing for like a minute of just applause. And then I took my sunglasses off, and there was another pair of sunglasses underneath it, and then more applause. I just love that performance.
So yeah, I mean,
That's good.
yeah, and he I think he lip sank it because they do at the halftime because you can't rely on mics and all that stuff. So but he was still really amazing.
I heard like that performance is kind of what changed Super Bowl performances. Before it was hard to get people to perform, and they didn't treat it like that big of a thing. But after Michael, it has evolved into like what we see today. Because before, performances weren't like that. They would have marching bands and shit. It wasn't like super glossy pop star stuff.
Yeah. Were you a fan of Michael Jackson?
I did. I liked the. Well,
Did you see him?
I liked never in person. I liked the Jackson 5, and then I followed Michael after that, but I never did go see him.
Why do you think that he changed his look so much?
I have no. I thought he was trying to resemble Diana Ross for the longest time.
But
Then
he passed
came
Diana
out-
Ross. He was all into
Yeah,
like
then he
Joy
went
Luck
white.
Club.
What era, I like asking people this, what era Michael do you think was the best? Like he should have stopped, just visually.
That's a really good question. I mean, when listen, after he got burned, his life was never the same because you burned the top of his head, and all your nerves are on the top of your head, and he had the whole Jerry curl thing, and you know, he's like was never not in. He never had a day after that he wasn't in pain. So then he relied on, you know, pills to relieve the pain, but then also he was very different after that. So if he wasn't burned, I think his career would have been very different.
What era was that he got
That
burned?
was like 84.
Post Thriller, pretty bad.
Yeah, 84. January 27th, 84.
And they had it in the can already. The guy goes, "Let's do it one more time." And that's what happened. The guy, back then when they had pyrotechnics, he wasn't, the guy hit the pyrotechnics before he got to, he should have already been down the stairs, and he wasn't. And it caught his hair on fire.
Man, I think
And,
Thriller, Mike. That was the peak.
I think maybe Thriller.
Visual
Yeah.
and like music. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you form that relationship? How did that happen?
Well, I got subpoenaed, and
The start of any good
at the Comedy Store, Jamie Masada had a comedy camp for kids in the 2000s. And me and Arsenio, Chris Tucker, Jay Leno, Jamie Foxx would have these families assigned to us. I got assigned the kids, and the mom was a very adolescent woman. She was kind of like very childlike, and they were dirt poor, and I had them, and I got them, and then so we would go for like a month or 2 months and give them tips on how to do stand-up, and then one night they would do a show, and the kids did great. So everybody goes, their family goes, and they do stand-up, and those kids were all right. Next thing I know, I get a call from the mom. She's all freaked out that is in the Children's Hospital on Sunset. He has a tumor in his stomach, and then I go over there, and he took out like a football-sized tumor in his stomach, and then I arranged a blood drive at my daughter's school, and Fox News covered it, and Michael Jackson saw the story on Fox and fit the profile of what he liked in a boy, and Michael Jackson called Fox, got the number of the family, and then I went to go see and like 3 days later, and during the day he was asleep, wiped out, and I said, "What's the matter? What's the matter? How come he's sleeping?" Oh, he was on the phone with Michael last night for like 5 hours, and I'm like, Michael, Michael Jackson called. He saw the story on Fox, and he called us here, and him and have been talking like from midnight to 6 a.m. for the last 3 nights. Michael Jackson calls at midnight, and he stays on the phone for 6 hours. Yeah. Okay. And then Michael Jackson used his power to take the family to Neverland Ranch one or two times as a family. And then he said to the kids, "Ask your mom if you can stay here over the weekend." And then they did, and he gave the father a truck and gave the mom a credit card and said, "Go in and go shopping, and they can stay here." And that was... He was grooming. Grooming.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Which is which you think, if you're an entertainer.
Did he ever like any fat kids?
Let me ask Tito.
That ship is
So there was a method to his.
Sure.
I mean, the kids that he liked were fit a profile and a certain look, and they were from families that weren't doing so well financially, because he would use his resources to earn the family's trust.
They do.
But I saw him in court, and I walked into court, and I'm standing there. They're on a break, so I'm the next. I just got there. I just got sworn. I just got there. I went through the metal detector, sent it back to the courthouse. They were on a recess. I'm the next guy to be the witness, and I'm looking around because they're on a break. And I go, "Where's that motherfucker at?" I look over there, and I'm like, "Oh, he looked like a fucking nutcracker." He was wearing like black and white Pee Wee Herman type pants and a red jacket.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And he was standing he looked like a nutcracker you put by the fireplace.
Imagine being that famous where you look in the mirror and you go, yeah, that's good. So like sometimes I'll wear a V-neck and I go, this might be too slow. Like I'm out and about with the V-neck and I go, I gotta go home and change. This guy's he's got epaulets and shit.
This motherfucker, he was the color of this computer. His skin was that color.
This is gunmetal gray.
Damn.
And when you're old like me and you remember what he was like when he was a kid, and you see that guy sitting at the fucking defendant's bench and he had no lips, like he had his lips removed.
Jesus.
So he's looking there and he's like it's like a skeleton. You know when on emoji there's a skeleton, like I'm dead, use a skeleton. So imagine that's
what the Michael Jackson emoji.
That's what Michael Jackson looked like. With like a skeleton with the thing and no lips, and he was trying to get my attention, so he was going like this, and he would be like this with no lips. He looked like a fucking ghoul. Yeah. Like he looked like for the next 3 weeks, I woke up in the middle of the night, I had nightmares about what that kid that we saw growing up was in that body, and what that dude had to go through to end up like that.
Sometimes
in court for looking at being put away for a long time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see somebody like that who's so famous and they seemingly have everything you could ever want, but you look at the way that their life kind of pans out, and you go,
what do you think causes that? What do you think?
You know
makes
what
somebody...
I think? Because another person like that is like, you'll see.
Is it ego? Is it?
No. Here's what it is. Like, nothing lasts forever. Even the most famous person in the world. You're gonna evaporate. Like I'm trying. Who's bigger? Like Ryan Gosling. 100 years from now, no one's gonna give a fuck.
Humphrey Bogart. Those guys.
Yes, people
those
who
guys.
are at the So time is undefeated. No matter how big you get, you are gonna be a blip on the timeline of the universe. And the thing is, these people can't let go. They want it to be that forever, and they can't realize that. All right, I'm entering a new phase of my life, and it's okay. Like I can't burn this fast and bright. Like it's impossible. You're defying the laws of physics. But because they want to hold on to it for as long as possible, that's when you see the ghoulishness, or you're trying to reverse time and you can't.
Okay, so hey, some of this I'm going to tell the truth on some stuff. Some will air. We'll see. Right. So AEG was my promoters, the guys that own Staples, and that's where Michael Jackson was doing the shows for AEG. They were going to go to London, right?
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's father brought his sidekick, this other African-American guy, to meet with the executives of AEG. And they said, if he goes to London, you have to pay us because I have a contract with him. It's like, you don't have a fucking contract. We're not giving you shit. So they had to get Michael and his father and AEG in the same room. Michael Jackson saw his dad and he threw up. He went to the bathroom and he threw up.
Whoa!
And he goes, "What's the matter? I can't talk with my father in the room." He's like, "Michael, the lawyers are there. You have to tell them that he's not part of it. Like they have to be told by you. Your father's not in your business." He fucking threw up when he saw him.
Wow.
So Michael Jackson, heavy drug user, and years ago, before he was still alive, I went to Las Vegas about 2005 or 6, and I had my kidney transplant, and I had swelling, and I had to get a diuretic. So I told the lady that works with my foundation, Linda, I said, I need to find a diuretic. Let me see if I can find you a doctor. So she's gone. She comes back 3 hours later. She comes in with a prescription, and she says, I met this doctor, and he wanted me to tell you that whatever you need, I'll get you. And I said, what do you mean? And she goes, no, that's what I said. What do you mean? You said, tell George I can get him liquid Demerol, Percocet, cocaine, liquid cocaine, any Norcos, whatever he wants. That doctor's name? Conrad Murray.
Wow.
So Conrad Murray could write prescriptions. He was a doctor. When it got to the point where were going to start to leave to London, Michael Jackson was in bad shape. And even that movie, he wasn't capable of doing 50 shows. He wasn't capable of doing 5 shows. And he knew it. And he knew it. And already the director had sent emails going, hey, this motherfucker right here, I don't know, you got to come and see. We might have to think about rescheduling, whatever. We're not rescheduling shit. Well,
there's so much money.
Dude.
Everyone's going to it's going to be weekend at Bernie's.
So, the last night that he was alive, he hugged that dude Randy before he got in the car, and he said, "Thank you. I know I can do it now." And he died overnight.
Oh man.
I think, my opinion, I think he committed suicide. I think he knew in his heart that he wasn't going to be able to do 50 shows. And the rubber had met the road to the point where he wasn't even going to be on the stage that long, but he wasn't going to be able to be on the stage for 30 minutes, much less 50 shows. And he knew it. And at some point, when you know it, you're trying to avoid the biggest embarrassment, which would be to go over there and fail. And he wanted to take Conrad Murray, and Randy was like, fuck that, where are we going to take this guy? Get a doctor over there. No, I got to have this guy. Michael, then you have to fly that guy, play him per diem, put him up. We'll find a fucking doctor in London. Has to be this guy. No, has to be this guy. Fucking got in a fight with him.
Jeez.
Because he knew that guy was his enabler with the drugs. But I think that he got up and pushed the thing to
You think it's a better way to go? Just I don't want to let my fans down or be a mockery because I can't do what I do on stage. I'm going to go out on top like this.
Sure, it's very plausible, very
because
easy to understand.
He's not a clear thinking dude. Like he can't go to sleep with shit that they give people to go to sleep in surgery. And his tolerance is so high for a guy that he's like, nobody takes propofol and stays awake. And I think the guy was on the phone, stepped out. He might have, or not, but I think that he may have ended his own life.
Well, and he was a performer since he was like 3. So imagine being told the one thing that was your whole identity.
But also when you're broken, I mean, it happens in comedy. When you're broken and just you feel like there's no place for you to go, and nobody's on your side, and the disappointment is on a high level, you give up.
Yeah. That's the one centering thing. Like, we all have our things. Michael had music and performing and all that. I think we have stand-up. Whatever's going through my life, whenever I get off stage, it's so like, I have this. You know what I mean? Everything else works itself out because you have this centering thing.
How did you, show me your road to stand-up. How did you, where were you, how long have you been doing stand-up?
20 years, man.
Oh, wow, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
You started when you were 18?
Yeah.
Damn, I started when I was 18.
Oh, yeah?
And where did you go, and what was who did you tell, and what came to you? Like for me, my friend Ernie was going to Kennedy High School out here, and there was a guy named Don Nielsen that went to Kennedy, and he was going on Monday nights to the Comedy Store in Westwood, and they wrote about him in Ernie's school paper, and he brought that to me, and he said, hey man, the Comedy Store on Monday night, this guy's going over there. You and I had to go over there. And that's where he fed me the idea. Well, how did you get the idea to do stand-up?
You know, I didn't really grow up with stand-up albums or anything, but I grew up with like SNL. I loved that show. And then when I was around 17, I was just like, how do people get on that show? It was just this otherworldly thing. I go, how does that happen? And I researched. They came from improv comedy.
Yep.
So like UCB, Groundlings, Second City, or stand-ups like Spade, Sandler, Kevin Nealon. Those were the two worlds. And then I researched all the improv schools like Second City. They were all in Chicago, New York, or LA. I'm a kid in Seattle, so I don't live there. And then you have to pay money to take these classes. And it seems like there's a lot of bureaucracy. You need other people. But stand-up is just you.
I mean, could Picasso teach you how to paint? No.
Like, I'm not knocking improv, you know? It's there's a skill set. It's very different than stand-up.
It's very different. But can somebody teach stand-up? They can tell you where to go and how to feel, but they can't.
You got to swim.
Unless you got the brush in your hand. Somebody could tell you, this is how you do it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of just, jump into the fire, figure it out. What?
Of just being a fan of like, I'll fucking go do it. That's how you learn.
Well, because I always had this performance element to me. Like I told you about the Michael Jackson thing. I would always that was my first entrance into performance, was like dancing like Michael Jackson. So I would do that. And I liked making sketches. I liked making little videos and stuff and video productions in 8th grade. So I had that bug already. And then I loved SNL. And then I saw Delirious. I think my 17th or 18th birthday, we rented Delirious.
Amazing.
Eddie Murphy's Delirious, if nobody knows.
Yep.
You should know if you don't know. So that was the first time stand-up kind of came on my radar. I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And then,
Do you remember where you were when you saw it for the first time?
yeah, I was in my parents' upstairs, like romper room or whatever. We were all dying, me and my buddies and my brother, just
Bucking Hill,
dying.
right?
Hilarious.
Amazing.
And then I was like, I'm gonna do stand-up. So then I did stand-up at this like comedy night at my school. I did like 30 minutes for my first time, which is fucking. But I did well
At
because it was
your
all
school?
yeah. But like looking back, it probably was god awful. But
How
you
about
know,
Miss Hutchinson?
yeah,
Fucking
yeah,
30
yeah.
minutes. 30 minutes is a long.
It's way too long. It's way too long for now, even. You know.
Yeah.
But then I kept going that summer. So I graduated, senior year, and then that summer I went to the Comedy Underground a few times. And then you just do a thing for long enough, and you kind of are in that scene.
You would go up there and do open mics and
open mics, sign
and you were
up
writing
out of a
stuff and
bucket,
saving stuff, yeah.
And then just like a moth to a flame. I just.
What did your father think or your mother think when you said?
They liked it when it just was part of a school thing. Like they liked me doing drama, they liked me doing that. But then once it seemed like, oh, he might want to do this as a career, it was just like a big. Like fuck.
Did they say did they yell at you like what the fuck do you think you're doing? Oh wow.
Yeah.
So
it
your
was like I was
father
doing heroin, pretty much. For real.
There you go. That's a good one. Telling your parents you want to do comedian, they treated you like I was doing
God.
fucking heroin.
For sure.
Hell do you know?
Because you could smoke in the clubs at the time. I would come home and they were like, my mom would be like, your hair smells like smoke, and like your father's
and
worried
when
about
sitting
you.
down, you said, hey, I got to tell you guys something.
I'm a comedian.
I want to be a comedian.
I think they knew. But the thing is, I was still going to engineering school and I was getting good grades, so they couldn't really.
So you were still doing enough.
Yeah, I was doing enough. They didn't like it, but I was still getting my degree, and it was fine, But they still would have loved if I was just like a doctor. Yeah.
And you got your degree.
Got my degree, and then I applied to jobs in Southern California because I knew I had
So
to
you
go
said
to
I'm
New
moving to
York or
California, so you moved to California.
Yeah, I got a job at Boeing in Long Beach because that was as close as I could get. And then I would like commute up at night. I would work, engineering by day, and then I would, take the 710 trucking route from Long Beach to like the Comedy Store, and just did that for a long time till I was able to do this shit full time.
And what did you tell your boss when you were going to leave?
I think it was a long time coming. So when it finally happened, they were like, they were mad in the earlier years. This was just like it coming to fruition.
But did they ever go see you perform? Did they go see you work?
No, not really. Yeah. I want them to come see me like for a big thing. Like I do the Tonight Show or something. Even though the Tonight Show is not what it was anymore, it would be cool to put a suit on, have my family in the crowd, and just be a nice celebration.
Where would that happen now? In Jimmy Kimmel?
I mean, L.A., Jimmy Kimmel, yeah.
Who else?
But even then, I just feel like, to your points, like the cachet of doing a sort of late night set is just
Sure.
Yeah,
I've
kinda
done
went
like
away.
3 already. Like, it's
Which
all
one did you do?
I did Conan twice, and I did Seth Meyers. That was my first one. You know what's crazy? Sometimes I go down YouTube rabbit holes, and I saw your Arsenio from like way back in the day. That was great. And
Yeah,
doing the
thank you.
couch and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that your first late night?
Yes, in '89.
So how did that? I'm curious, like your path and trajectory. So how did that come to be?
We're not here to talk about my path.
You're not.
I mean, I'll tell you if you want to know. But in your heart, like, did you feel like? Because I never get off stage and say, God, I feel so much better now that I did that. Like I use stand up almost like a boxer that was trying to get out of the neighborhood. I didn't look at it as I'm being creative. I don't even know why I like stand up, but I wasn't connected to it in any way other than to try to get out.
Yeah.
So
it was like the NBA to you, just like
I was
to
like,
get out of my
that's,
circumstances.
boxers, but I didn't think, it didn't come natural to me that you were a performer. It didn't come natural to me. I met some guys that I knew forever in '79, but it wasn't something that I ever felt comfortable doing. I just kept doing it. But think about, like, when we start, there's no benefit. There's no money. If every time you did $1,000, I'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Fucking, here's your check, man. Thanks. $1,000. I'll be back tomorrow. See you this weekend. But you go to a place where you're not good and you keep going. What does that say about us? Like, where is that hole in our body that we need to fill with strangers and people you don't know, and you're standing up there and you're trying to get them to laugh so you feel better at making them laugh?
For me, it's the puzzle of it. I like when I'm working on a bit and then maybe a part of it works and the other part puts them off and they don't like you with that bit. Then I'm like, oh, okay, I went too far here.
Almost like
let me refine this.
An engineer would look at something he's building something.
Yeah.
And do you want to be what do you aspire to be now that you've been with Chappelle and you do those shows, very eclectic, the highest level comedians, and what would make you happy if you're 38? How about being at 48 or 58? Where would you see your perfect self?
Like just enough.
Married?
I don't need a lot. Yeah, I think married. Yeah, I want that. I think all I ever wanted out of this game was just to make a decent living, being creative, and doing something you love.
So you could be behind the scenes if you created a show. You could be maybe
if
on
it's
the
my
show.
If it's my shit,
yeah.
like if it's my vision and it's on screen, cool. But sometimes in Hollywood, they want you to show run something and it's not your project, and then you're making a lot of money, but it's not your vision.
Right.
Even something as simple as like a bit I think of tonight, or like here at this podcast, and then I go do it tonight. That's exciting. Like, oh fuck, I just thought of that earlier today.
Yep.
And now the rubber meets the road.
Right.
But if it's somebody else's show, like, hey, this is some 25-year-old kid show, do you want to run it? And I'm talking to costumes and I'm talking to like the gaffers, like that, then it's like Boeing.
Did you run a show?
No, but I know that's a route,
And also, let me give you some props on. I also use the term "when the rubber meets the road."
It's a good
When
phrase.
you got to put up like boxers. At some point, I try to tell everybody with stand-up, you can work and work and work, but at some point, you got to put them up, and you got to fucking deliver.
Yeah, it's just you and the audience.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. Because Hollywood, there's all this. There's agents, there's managers, there's casting directors, there's various producers on a project. There's so many places where you get lost in translation. But what's great about stand-up is like it's just you, a stage, the idea. It's so immediate. No
So
one's telling you
more
can't
of
do
a?
it.
Do you write sketches more, or do you write jokes, or what's your like? Let's see. I was never political as a comedian.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
But when Trump started to run, and then the first day he said, Mexicans are criminals and they're rapists, and that
Ignited
I got activated. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't really slant political, but if I have an idea, I'll do it. But I'm not like Bill Maher or something.
Yeah.
And if that's not your bread and butter, you're just dividing half the crowd for no reason, especially if that's not your strength.
So, in doing stand-up since 1979, and going through, when I first stepped on stage, Jimmy Carter was the fucking president. So, 3.5 years ago, I went to take Cedric's family to go eat at the Chateau, and when number 45 had assassinated the leader in Iran, and there was a story on that Saturday that said that Iran had offered a $80 million bounty. So after lunch, I turned my phone on and I saw that on Hollywood Unlocked, and I typed, "We'll do it for half." And by the time I got home, my publicist called and said, "Did you say something about the president 45 minutes ago?" Yeah. What did you say? They offered $80 million, and I said, "We'll do it for half." Yeah, well, it's all over the place. It's on Fox. There are people calling for you to be arrested. Get the fuck out of here. No, serious. It's all over the place. It's everywhere. And I said, well, what's going to happen? And they said, well, Fox wants to know, they want an answer from you. I said, it's a fucking joke. I'm a comedian. It's a joke.
Yeah.
Then I'm at the doctor's office, and they're watching Fox in there, and it says that I'm going to get a visit. The guy said, comedian George Lopez should be expecting a visit from the Secret Service. And I'm like, the fucking secret for what? And they came to my house.
No. What did they say?
Well, first of all,
Don't do that.
First of all, they have everything we've ever put on social media. All of it. All yours, all of ours. They come in, they go, we're here to just assess whether you're a threat or not. Okay. Do you remember retweeting a picture of El Chapo holding a severed head of the president? And I said, what's the guy's name? El Chapo? El Chapo. Holding what? I said, I have to tell you, I don't remember. Motherfucker opened his briefcase, took out his dossier, took a picture. Goes, is this refresh your memory?
Someone printed it off.
The Secret Service did. And they showed it to me, and it had what I said at the time. I said, oh, this. And he said, do you think that this is funny? I said, not right now.
Here you go. Look how many retweets it
I
got.
said, when I did it, I thought it was funny. But right now, I'm not finding it very amusing. And everything that I had said, I also said, but they fucking did one of my head cut off. It'll get me fucking bitching and crying. So they.
How many people
What do you mean, how many people?
showed up?
Two.
Two guys. Were they nice
A guy and a
or
girl.
were they kind of intimidating?
One was a good one and one was a bad one.
Oh, they still do the
And they
good
said to
cop,
me,
bad cop.
do you have any weapons in the house? I'm sorry. Do you have any weapons in the house? Weapons, guns? No. I do.
Yeah.
But they should. If you were the officer, detective,
Yes.
you know I'm fucking lying right there, right?
Yes.
You have any guns in the house?
Take too long for you to answer.
Yeah. So
Looked away. takes too
in
long.
our age of, politicians can be looked at as fools, and we're looked at as the truth. We were never the
You're a
truth.
comedian. Why,
We
you
were
know what I
never.
mean?
We were
Yeah.
never the truth. Does any of that go into thoughts as you're writing?
Yeah, I mean, I had this one thought I did on stage where I'm like, sometimes people will be like, what responsibility do comedians have? And I'm like, none.
We should.
I play both sides. I'm married to the joke. If I appear Republican in one joke to make the joke work, okay. If I appear liberal in one joke to make the joke work, okay. I'm a jester, man. I'm playing all sides of it.
But everybody's now there's such a divide to the right and the left.
Yeah.
That I went to when the Astros played the Dodgers, I went to every game of the World Series. And I was flying back from that great game, the Sunday game when the Dodgers when the fucking Astros were hitting garbage cans together.
Yeah.
Curveball. Who knew they were cheating?
It was like stomp.
It was like 15 to 13. And there was a big guy, Texas dude, 6:15 in the morning, walks up to me, fucking big guy. You George Lopez? Yes. Fuck you and fucking Trump. Fucking best thing that ever happened to America. You go back to fucking Mexico, wherever the fuck you came back from.
Mm-hmm.
I said, fuck you, motherfucker. Well, fuck you. Hey, well, fuck you, you fucking cocksucker, fucking hillbilly fucker. And he's like, fuck you. And I turn around and my greeter is a little Latina girl, and she's holding my boarding pass, and she's like, and she said, "Do you know that guy?" I said, does it fucking sound like I know that fucking guy?" No, I don't mean that. Why did he say that? Well, because he's a fucking red hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's weird.
said, hey.
Sometimes I get so triggered, and when I get political, sometimes it's very kid gloves. It's a jokey joke. I'm not.
Because you know that if you go deeper, that you'll get some pushback.
Sure, but even on the surface level jokey joke, they got triggered one time. I was doing the La Jolla Comedy Store, and I had this joke where I'm like, feels weird to say Trump is our president. It's like saying Hulk Hogan is our lawyer, or is my lawyer, Just like a dumb joke. And some this old white lady in the back's like, He's un-American. Get him off stage. He's un-American. And they had to bounce her. She was yelling the whole way out.
So that's what that dude did. He gave everybody a right to stand up and say, I don't like that.
Oh yeah, I got family like that. I don't talk to them anymore.
How about that?
But that was such a nothing joke. It barely went into politics. Everyone else was loving it, even Republicans in the crowd. But sometimes they're just waiting to have this fight,
Should you be at a comedy club if you're waiting to have a fight? No. I did a live HBO special at the Kennedy Center, a couple miles from the White House. I said, Donald Trump called us rapists and criminals, and when I see him, I'm going to rob him and fuck him.
Just to prove him right.
Raw, because that's the way he likes it. And I did it live. Nobody told me, HBO didn't tell me not to do it. I did it.
Was this before or after the tweet?
Yeah.
before.
They come to your house again.
You know,
I'm
by
like,
the
"Do
way,
you
I just
really
think that's a
plan
funny
on-"
line. I don't give a shit if it was Trump, Biden, whoever. That's a good line.
I said, you better build that wall in one day because you leave that fucking material out there overnight, that shit will fucking be gone.
We got.
And I wasn't political. Like it changed. You know, I was a guy trying to make it. You know, I had an opportunity to do a television show. I did it. It was still on, but I was never. And then you have people tell you, my kids love your show. They will never watch your show ever again. Well, I'm sorry then.
Yeah.
Sorry for them.
Hey.
And it just divided us to a point where I got in a fight. I was doing a movie in Las Cruces, New Mexico. I got in a fight with a fucking guy. Because he was live streaming and he came over and put the fucking camera in my face and he's like, Ma, make America great again. Get the fuck out of here. And
Are you that well known? Is like, it's crazy that this many people
I
are just
am,
coming
yeah.
at you. No, I don't mean like that. I mean like politically, to just these MAGA guys to come at you.
yeah,
like that.
they know who the enemies are, I think. It's like, I don't play highlight, but if I did, I guess I would know who the best highlight player in the world would be. But it became a fucking minefield of bullshit and a minefield of people thinking that their voice mattered. It doesn't matter. If you buy a ticket to sit in the audience, your laughs matter, your fucking opinions don't matter. Mm-hmm. And that's how you get Will Smith slapping fucking Chris Rock.
Yo.
Because it's like, it just can't be a joke.
Yeah, if you don't like a joke, just sit out,
You
Keep
got to
it
get a
yourself.
medical record of somebody? Oh, you have alopecia. I wish I would have known. I'm sorry. But it destroys real comedy because a real comedian is trying to get to the crust of something, the gist of something that is deeper than just somebody just being up there just to
Take
to
my wife,
spin
please. Like
plates,
you
yeah.
kind of go a little deeper. And also, not every joke is for everyone. If you don't like that one, sit that one out.
That's right.
Hop in for the next one.
That's right.
I don't like every Drake track, but I don't cancel Drake. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'll like the next track.
And do you go on the road? Do you do dates on the
I'm
road?
starting to, yeah. So I had a special come out on YouTube, and then I'm going to hit the road.
How did you do your YouTube special?
I just wanted to do it at the Comedy Store,
Yeah.
just because that's my home club.
And then you told him I want to do it at the Comedy Store.
Yeah, I called Peter Shore up because I've had this idea for a while, and like I can't do it without their buy-in. I just wanted to film it during regular operation.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to rent it out, and I didn't want my crowd to be there or anything. I just wanted to film what it's like to do a regular set at the Comedy Store. So I do the original room, just my regular 15-minute set, original room, main room, belly room, just so you get a feel for the different rooms
Yeah, yeah. Oh, wow,
all in the
that's
Comedy
very
Store.
clever, yeah.
Yeah, so that's all I wanted for a special, is just to be a fly on the wall at a comedy club.
Yeah.
Not like super produced and glossy. Like I've done one of those already. I just wanted to capture what it's like to work out at that gym,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. And how was it? How was it received?
It's great. Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And it's nice to build
Tell
that
everybody
up.
your YouTube channel.
It's just my YouTube channel is youtube.com/Fahim Anwar. The special is called Hat Trick. So if you type in
the
Fahim
three, yeah.
Anwar Hat Trick, it'll come up.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's a good special.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
good.
It looks great too. Like
I directed it, bro. Whoa, man. Yeah.
And what kind of cameras did you have? How much did it cost a lot to do? No.
No, not really. So
They didn't charge you to use the room or anything?
No. Yeah, because it was just piggybacking on a regular
On a-
night of
yeah, yeah. Oh,
operation,
cool.
and it was super skeleton crew.
I think you might be the first dude that I've ever heard of that has done that.
The Hat Trick.
To be able to ask somebody, hey, do you mind if I sit
Well,
these
it was because it's for YouTube. Like I'm
Yeah.
not making any money off this. We didn't sell it to any streamers. So I think because there was really no money to be
So it was
made,
more
they were
of
kind of
your
it's like a passion project.
passion,
kinda.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a store guy, so it's not like I'm some outside entity coming in trying to use the space. Like they know me pretty well.
Yeah.
Were you a store guy? What was your club coming up?
That's a very good question. The first time I ever went on stage, there was a Comedy Store in Westwood, on Westwood Boulevard, right before Olympic. It's an Italian restaurant right now. And in that Comedy Store was John Fox, Gary Shandling, Howie Mandel, Tim Thomerson, Elaine Boozler, Howie Mandel, and you know the regular guys. But it was a great place. It wasn't the store on Sunset. It was just kind of in Westwood. Very easy to be at, very cool. But you aspire to go to Hollywood. And so I went in there, and then I went to Hollywood a little bit. But I was 18, so I'd have to go on early and then be done. There was really nobody there, so it becomes very kind of like you get down on. You're gonna go up there and
Yeah.
there's fucking 6 people there seating people.
Yeah.
In 3 minutes, you're fucking out. It's like fuck this shit. So, but I was never. I never felt welcomed at the Comedy Store. So I haven't. The last time I performed at the Comedy Store was in 1991.
Oh, man.
31
And
years.
Carlos Mencia stole my act from that time that I was there.
Is that part of the reason you like didn't want to go back because he stole it?
No. I just didn't feel comfortable there. And then I was at the Ice House for a long time, and I was kind of, there doing the road and stuff. And then I started going to the Laugh Factory. It was really kind of the Laugh Factory. Maybe the Improv a little bit, but
You ever think about going back to the store, or you go, it's not worth it?
no, you know what? They've asked me to go back there. They've called me and said, we have a spot for you. Well, not recently, but they called me and they would say, we have a 10-20 spot. If you want to come down. I said, nah.
It's so different. You know what's
I'm
crazy?
good.
Because I'll hear these stories from like legends and people who've come before, and these things happen to you kind of in your formative years, and then you'll still hold on to these things, even though it's a completely different place. Like, I think Seinfeld didn't perform at the Comedy Store forever because like Mitzi didn't like him, and then he's friends with Sebastian, and then he came down one time and performed there. So it's crazy that like...
Did he feel like I should be here more, or did he feel like, wow, that was great? I mean, everybody knows who he is.
Sure, yeah. He's like so beyond that little blip in his career that you kind of put so much importance on.
Right.
But he did end up performing there. He doesn't perform there a lot. He'll be at the Hollywood Improv sometimes, I'll hear. But like, yeah, they would love it if you came back, and it's
Yeah.
totally different people, and it's a fun space. I mean, it'd be great to see you there. Do it, man. Do it.
I saw some great people there.
I'll go see
It's
it.
awesome.
I mean, in 79, 80, I was me and my buddy Ernie were there, and I saw David Letterman, Howie, Tim Thomerson, and a couple other guys standing in front of me, maybe 10 feet, like where the wall is. And Letterman was still doing, I think, a morning show, on CBS.
Yeah.
He was, so I told my friend Ernie, I said, fucking Letterman's over there, man. And I didn't want to go up and ask him for an autograph. So a homeless guy comes by, and I say to him, hey, man, I'll give you $5. You go and ask that dude to sign this paper. He asked the wrong guy. He asked Skip Stevenson. It said, hey, Skip Stevenson.
You made Skip Stevens' day, dude.
Laugh more, Skip Stevenson. I said, comes back. I said, not him, the other fucking guy. Give him another $5.
He goes, I don't own a TV. I don't know.
So now he's standing with a paper and a pen. He's looking back at us and looking up there. I said, that guy right there. So he taps the guy. Fucking Letterman looks at him and goes, yeah, signs it, gives it to him, comes back. And David Letterman wrote, beat it, you deadbeat David Brenner. That's what he wrote. Beat it, you deadbeat David Brenner. That's what he wrote. I still have it. Amazing, huh?
Yeah.
He just said, get the fuck out of here. But yeah, it's almost like, I wasn't around in the prehistoric ages, but those guys, their lore is so big. Like, I saw Richard Pryor in a canary yellow Rolls Royce listening to a set between shows in his driver's seat, idling in front of the Comedy Store.
Man.
And it was he would put the thing up to him, he would rewind it, put the thing up to him, and my friend Ernie goes, go and say hello. And I went over there and I looked inside and he was listening, and I backed up and he goes, what happened? I said, no, I saw what I needed to see. He's listening to a set, it's like that's, I do that, I tape all this stuff. Then we became, I became friends with him. So it's a trip to see a guy in where my grandmother was alive in the living room, like that. We only had one VCR was in the living room, and I had Live in Long Beach in 79, 80, and I would watch it every fucking day. My grandmother would be like, you still watching that shit? The fuck, man, no te enfadas, like your enfadas, like you don't have enough of, you don't get enough of that? And I'm like, no. And I ended up meeting him, and I eulogized him at his funeral.
Oh, wow.
So it's very special.
Yeah.
That was the only black guy my grandmother allowed in the house. And he came in by VCR. Amazing, huh?
Yeah.
Do another beer or anything?
Yeah, I'll do another one. I'm curious, like, the sitcom you did, what was it like? Was that your like
First time.
first acting thing?
Yeah.
What was that transition like? Because how long had you been doing stand-up before you were acting on that show?
20 years.
What?
Or close to 20
You
years.
were doing stand-up 20 years before the show?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
On and off. In the beginning of the first 5 years was on and off.
Oh, thank you so much.
And then about 20 years. And then, you know, man, it's like, it's way different. It was way different then because, you know, now because of social media and all that stuff is that you can make connections on, you know, you can meet anybody anywhere.
Yeah.
And they can be helpful to you and you never even meet them.
Yeah.
And back then it was like you had to go out of your house to go do this. And then this guy that I still talk to said to me in like 99, I heard that he was looking at people for a producing partner that he had, and that somebody had told him, you need to see George Lopez. And then he saw me. And then he went away for a whole year, July to July, from 99 to 2000. Then he called me in July 2000. He said, are you still interested in that idea that I have? And I said, you never told me what it was. So in that, from July to August, I found out it was Sandra Bullock. So I met her. She came to see me perform at the Improv. And then like a week later, I went to her office and we sat down and went over my act because she said, I think that there's something in there. And then when we had kind of carved out a bit of a treatment, we went to Warner Brothers to meet Bruce Helford, who did Drew Carey and Roseanne.
Oh, shit.
And then he told me, I didn't even know who you were. He goes, I took the meeting just to meet Sandra. So I said, all right. And, you know, Sandra had just done Miss Congeniality, so she could open any door.
yeah.
But she was with me the whole time. She never, you know, we heard a couple no's, but she stayed with me the whole time.
So she was just like a huge fan, seeing your stand-up around town?
Mm-hmm.
Ah. And you've been doing it 20 years prior to that?
Yeah.
That's
So when I'd never taken a entry into trying to do anything on TV.
Yeah.
And they were all my stories of, like, you know, my grandmother, my grandfather, my life. So we were in there like talking for like a month every day. And then, you know, I would cry a little bit. Sometimes I would get, you know, really kind of sad, and that girl would be typing it down, and she would go like this, and then Bruce is like, "Are you all right?" And she goes, "It's just so sad." Fucking typing, and I said, "Yeah, but it's sad." But then, you know, the humor comes from it.
Yeah.
Because we were taking almost like everything. Like if you had a car, you took it all apart. Then you're identifying all of it, and then the president of TV at Warner Brothers saw me in May of 2001, and then the next week, the president of ABC and the president of Warner Brothers saw me on a Thursday at the Ice House, and the next morning, Bruce Helford called me and said, "We got a show, man. They love you," and that was it.
And that's the same guy that's doing Lopez versus Lopez now.
And that's the same guy I'm doing the show with my daughter.
It's another winner.
wow.
Same when he was there, yeah.
Another winner.
And you know what? It's very different, man. Like you know, you'll appreciate it. Like, you know, I'm number one on the call sheet. You know, so it's my show, and you saw me there.
Yes.
Very inclusive to people and very, you know, welcoming of people and giving people their credit, which is complete opposite of what a comedian does. Like it's all about us,
Yeah,
like internally.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But even we shot Monday and Tuesday. And there's people there that, you know, there were extras and people there, and they look at you, and you can tell when they're looking at you like, oh shit, there he is. And as I stand there and they're touching my makeup up, I still feel like a comedian, even though I'm an actor in a show.
Yeah.
I still feel like, aside from all of that my skeleton is a comedian. Like I might be acting in a sitcom, but the bones of me are in comedy.
I'm the same way. I was watching the George Carlin doc. Did you see that at all on HBO? And there was a line in there, I mean, I'm butchering it, but the idea of it is he's a stand-up comedian and he visits Hollywood.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I feel that way too. Like I'll step away and visit to do a writing thing or visit to do an acting thing, but at my core, I'm a stand-up comedian.
But do you love it? But like
stand-up?
But it's not like if you didn't do it, you'd die. Not like that.
I mean, I like it a lot, man. Yeah, I love it. I feel like everything stems from it.
Right.
Like that is my centering place. I come up. It keeps me sharp. It keeps you relevant too.
That's right. Yeah.
Because this town, you'll hit something and then you're down. But if you're just doing stand-up every night, you are in the zeitgeist. You are in control. If you're just a straight-up actor, you'll have a hot run for maybe 2 years, 3 years, and then you're just kind of fucked. You're waiting like, hey, is anybody? You have to audition.
Right.
You have to tap dance.
Yep.
But with stand-up, it's just you. You go. You do it.
I think do you know about manifesting destiny? Like
I've heard about it, like The Secret and stuff. You put it out there.
Yeah.
And
Do you believe in that?
a little bit.
you?
More and more.
What is that?
To manifest destiny is. Do you know what it is, motherfucker? You seem to know everything.
He's got a hydro flask. Of course he knows.
Manifest
Yeah,
destiny was the
motherfucker.
term for the westward expansion of the United States in the 1800s.
Do you know what manifesting destiny?
Like manifesting in terms of sort of like thinking
Creating
it,
things and
making
thinking
it real.
Like
yeah.
saying it out loud, and then the universe
or
kind
saying it to yourself, even. So, unbeknownst to me, I've been manifesting destiny my whole life, as you see. Which one do I start with? Earlier this year, I was doing a show for Amazon, and I had the deal to do Lopez versus Lopez, and I had a deal to do an hour at Amazon. So I shot the hour at Amazon, and I thought it came out great. Amazon wanted to give it 60 days to think. They wanted an extension of 60 days. February 1st was the day they had to say yes or no. They said, can we have 60 days to think about it? And in those 60 days, I got the Blue Beetle, did a DC movie, the Blue Beetle, first Latino superhero.
Oh, shit.
And that came 2 weeks after they asked for the extension. And then I was able to do the show with my daughter. But if Amazon had picked that show up, I wouldn't have been able to do the Blue Beetle or the NBC show. So I said out loud, I'd like to do the show with my daughter, and what do you have to do to get a DC movie? And they both came in that period. I was in the car because I play golf with Don Cheadle, and Don Cheadle's a Marvel. He's War Machine, and in playing with him and hearing him talking about going, all the work and stuff, I got in the car and I said, "What the fuck do you have to do to get a fucking DC movie?" And I got one. But I think if you say it out, you don't have to say it to anybody, but if you feel it, then you put it out in the universe, and I believe that it comes to you.
Are you gonna get on steroids and get super ripped?
No.
No.
Not for this one, at least.
Not for this one. but I think you can energetically and by things attract things to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to go when I was 15 to the Hollywood Walk of Fame and walk up and down, and George Burns' star. I would imagine my name where George Burns' star was. In 2006, I got a star on the Walk of Fame.
That's so awesome.
So I think if you, and remember, I was a guy that I didn't look at it as love. I looked at it as a form of a bit of expression and I wasn't the best. I would see guys that were way better.
Who did you like coming up? Like
who was around there? Brian Regan was a fucking dude that was so good technically, like a real comedian, and he
clean too,
and never really got, like, I thought Foxworthy had a TV. Foxworthy, I seen Foxworthy get a show. I saw Tim Allen before Home Improvement, and his whole act, he had a Showtime special, and his whole act was Home Improvement, the whole thing with the power tools, but fucking tight. I mean, a tight fucking hour. Like,
he gave him the show, right? Like,
he put it in their lap, and that fucking hour was fucking amazing. And he would do it the same way every night, and he would fucking kill him every night. And you see, I saw Raymond get the show, I saw Kevin get the show, I saw Drew Carey get a show, I saw Brad Garrett, from Star Search and all that stuff. I seen all the guys come out. I hadn't gotten an opportunity, and I said, man, I just, I didn't say like, when's my turn?
Sure.
It just kind of, I saw somebody, or somebody saw me that was important, and they said, I think, we might find something in you. But I never expected to have these years like the last 20 years have been.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like there was an era of comedians having their act, and you saw the sitcom.
Yeah.
I feel like there's less of that now.
What do you think the guys go now? Like, who's doing shows that are comedians that Hey Fool, like that stuff, like, and Euphoria. Is anybody a comedian in Euphoria or any of those shows?
I don't know if in
Not
Euphoria.
Euphoria.
Right?
around, 'cause nothing
But you know,
comes
right?
to mind, yeah.
So the special back then, the special was a special. It was right. It was like Delirious.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
That was one of very few fucking specials. Like there wasn't 50 specials. Delirious was
So
like
many. Yeah.
yeah.
Today
And then
there's
George
all-
Carlin did them, and then Robert Klein and Rodney Dangerfield had stuff. But they were. That's why they call them a special. And now I think with
There's just so many, man.
there's so many.
There's Comedy Central, there's Showtime, there's HBO, there's Stars, there's YouTube now, everyone, like myself included, you know? That's why I did mine at the store. I'm like, okay, I have to separate myself somehow.
Yeah.
Because if I did it at some black box theater, it may be funny material, but who gives a fuck? Like, there's so many of them. You could have 1,000 chocolate chip cookies, and then you're like, this doesn't move me anymore.
Would you do you act? Do you take?
Yeah, I mean, stand-up's the main thing, and then an acting thing or a writing thing. I
It's
just
two
take
different.
it as
It's
it comes.
two different.
What, stand-up and acting or writing?
Stand-up and acting
Oh
are
yeah,
two
yeah,
different
yeah.
things.
That's why I was kind of curious. So when you started acting in your sitcom, was it supernatural for
No.
you? No.
No. You know, in 2001, December 2001, I read with the guy who became my best friend in the show. He was an actor.
Yeah.
And I'd already been writing the show with these guys for like 4 months, but nobody ever asked me, hey, can you act? Nobody ever said, can you act? So Bruce and Robert, the other guys, go, hey, read with Valente. We read, and I was fucking awful. I was awful. And we had wrote the script already, the
Yeah.
pilot. And I was awful, and I looked at them, and it's almost like, you know, if you have a kid out there and your kids, you know, you're like, what's that motherfucker doing? Is he all right? Like, they were looking at me like, and I said, and then they said to me, oh, no, you don't have to read. It's cool. It's all right. We're good.
Oh, God.
But I saw in their eyes the fear of like, this motherfucker can act. So I went back and I got myself an acting coach like that day, and then I used her for the whole run of my show every week. Because I, you know, would talk in one tone. I would talk like this the whole time. Hey man, there's a car behind you. Watch out, it's gonna hit you. I wouldn't say like, hey, there's a car. You know, I was very monotone, and my eyes would move everywhere. And in acting, you can't do that. So she taught me, and this is how fucking green I was as an actor. So you have your side over there, I have it, and I would say to her, say it to me. What do you mean say it? I want to hear it. Say it to me. Okay, well, you have to act with me. No. I'll memorize this. I'll take it home, but I want to hear you do it. She goes, that's not for fucking acting. Motherfucker. You have to. I couldn't even read to her. And I already had a deal to do a show. I couldn't even read to me and her.
When did you
And
feel
she got me
comfortable?
past that.
Do you think at what point?
Fuck, man. Maybe, you know, we did 4 mid-season, and the biggest decision I ever had to make was ABC bought the show. So they were like, do you wait till September? And 9/11 already happened 2001,
shit.
the year before, and all the comedies went away because, you know, it was,
Not a
nobody
time
wanted to
to
laugh.
Yeah.
So they said, you can go mid-season or you could wait till September. So we were all at Warner Brothers in the president's office. Sandra, me, Bruce, Robert, Warner Brothers people, ABC people were on the speakerphone. And we were deciding when to go. And they said, you guys want to go at the end of March or do you want to go in September? And Sandra goes, well, let's ask George. Like, what do you want to do? And I said, hey, let's go in March. I said, if we're going to find out, let's find out sooner than later. And it was the best, I think it was the best move I could have made. If I'd waited till September, I think I would have lost the momentum of the interest from, I think it would have still been there, but we went for it quick to get a quick answer, and then we got picked up. So after we had to retain 85% of the lead-in, and we retained 93% of the lead-in. So they picked it up, and then I had the summer off. We started to write, and then we're off and going. Yeah, but I mean, that decision was not going to be made. Like Sandra was like, "You should be the one who makes the decision, not us." Fuck that. What do you want to do? And I was like, I didn't know from anything. I said, "Hey, let's go. You know, let's go in the end of March." So
It worked out.
it worked out. I haven't really made too many mistakes.
What was the lead-in show? Do you remember?
According to Jim.
Oh, wow.
Watched 4 more episodes. Well, that was the same one on American Airlines the other day.
Okay,
Still going on.
Manifest Destiny. I'm on a flight with Kevin James, and he's in first class, and I'm not. I'm in coach. And they have the TV in front of the seat, and he's watching King of Queens. So he's with the dude, and they're both watching the show.
Yeah.
I go to the bathroom, walk by him. I don't really know him. Hey, what's up? And I can, from where I'm sitting, I can see them pointing at the screen and saying this. They're talking about the show.
Giving notes.
And I said, I would like one day to be on a plane and see my show on a TV screen on an airplane. And it happened.
It's there today.
Where did you see it?
I was on the way back from Miami just last week.
How many
Airline?
seasons?
120 shows, 6.
Damn. Residuals, baby.
And then
And they had 4 episodes. And see, I watched all 4 goddamn episodes.
Don't say that.
And then I watched the movie, and the movie was good. It was a shoot 'em up. I can't find the ending of it now. 10 minutes before the end of the movie, they turn the thing off. We're getting ready to laugh.
Because I wasted your fucking time in the front half.
Exactly.
You stay on the flight for the next one. You're like, I gotta see how this ends. I'll take a bus.
But yeah. But as like a comedian, you know, like that's what I was. To have a show and to do that, to drive on the lot like I'm over at NBC.
Yeah.
And all that shit.
You got the parking spot, George Lopez right there by the stage.
It's
Where did you guys shoot? Warner Brothers?
We shot the first one at Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers.
And then, we shot the first one at Warner Brothers, and then this one at, so Freddie Prinze, I used to watch Sanford and Son growing up. It was on Friday night at 8, and Chico and the Man was on at 8:30. So Freddie Prinze was my idol, and then Sanford and Son I really, really loved. So my time spot is the Sanford and Son time spot, Friday night at 8. Manifest.
Good for you, brother.
It's a weird landscape for comedians nowadays
Cheers.
because that was the blueprint, you know?
Yeah,
like
it's not anymore.
When I was growing up, that was the thing to do. Even when I got into stand-up, like, all right, that's the blueprint.
Yeah.
Do stand-up, get a sitcom, get on a sitcom. It just helps with ticket sales on the road.
Right.
That's like not a thing anymore.
What do you want? Is money important? Is it money important to?
It's part of it. Like, I don't need a Lamborghini and shit. I just want stability and like make a decent living.
Is your creative more towards in front of the camera? Like would a sitcom be good for you, or even if it was like on a HBO Max or Hulu or Amazon, something different?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Just like something of your own creation. You know, like what you got to do is great.
Yeah.
It's very much you, your ideas, your life, anything like that.
You know what? Let me tell you a story. I was drinking on a Sunday night with my friend Memo out there at Mission Hills, and we drank, a case each, maybe 12 beers, 14 beers, and I was driving. And I had this Volkswagen Scirocco that had a great stereo in it, and every time I went back to the liquor store, I put the music on louder. And it wasn't that far. Like, I still remember driving. I was fucking drunk, but I still remember driving. I wasn't blacked out. But the cops passed us, and what got their attention was I had the radio so loud, they looked, and they went back and pulled me over. I had the radio loud. So they pulled me over. I was fucking drunk. Walked the thing. They arrested me. Went to Foothill Division. In the morning, they chained me to some dude. We went around to all the other divisions and picked up other fucking drunk drivers or guys that, right? It took us to Van Nuys to arraign us, for an arraignment. And when I was sitting in the holding cell of Van Nuys Courthouse, 3 guys in orange jumpsuits come, and one is a heavier set Latino guy with blonde hair, and I'm looking down like this, and he sits next to me, and he's got slippers on, but his toes are painted like red. And I look down like this, and I look at his toes, and I look, and he's got like George. It's a dude, but he's got blonde locks, crazy hair, and red toes. And I look up, and it's just a heavy guy that's very fey, he's got orange toenails and fucking blonde hair. And the sheriff comes to the door, and he goes, "Lopez!" And I stood up, and the dude next to me stood up. Our last names were Lopez, and the sheriff guy goes, "No, Mrs. Lopez." Right? And that guy went out, and I stayed in there. When I did my sitcom, I put that scene in the show where I was arrested, and the guy comes and goes, "Lopez," and there was a tranny in the corner, and I remember he lifted himself up like this, like very kind of like a ballerina, and he goes, and the guy goes, "Mrs. Lopez," and the guy went out there. I put the same fucking scene in the show, word for word.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that sounds like it worked out good in your show now.
Callback.
I already used it though. You don't want to go. But so you know what I mean? It's like I think our currency is our thoughts, but also our currency is like our experiences.
Yeah.
If somebody says something to you, and you're like, "Wow, I never really heard anybody fucking put it like that." That's our fuel.
Yeah, how you view the world.
What your dad would have said to you when he was upset with you, or what my grandmother had said to me, or I said, "Hey, Grandma, I want to be a comedian." Like, ¿de qué? A comedian. How are you going to be a comedian? I'm going to go over to the place. I'm funnier than you. Take me with you. I'll fucking be a comedian too.
Will you still hit mics at all, or what will you do?
No, not really.
No stand up.
No, you know what? One time I went to dinner. We were driving by the Comedy Store with this girl. I said I used to go out there like Saturday night, and there's all kinds of people outside. And I said I used to go out there and wait like these guys. And we went by the Laugh Factory. There's people out there, and then I thought about it on the way home, and when I got home, I got sick. Like I threw up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The idea of being out there again, like remembering what it was like to be out there, made me like baby sick.
Mm. That was your Joe
There's
Jackson.
that, but because it is. I mean, it's
a grind, man.
Some people never, and there's some people there's really no thing set, right, of who comes up and who doesn't come up. Mm-hmm. Like there's no pattern, or there's no path you can truly take. Everybody's path is different.
Totally. Yeah.
So there's no way that you go, "Oh, I should have gone and done that. That would have made it better." No,
because
you just got to do it. You just got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel? How did you find Chappelle? How did Chappelle find you?
Well, that was just like a show in Austin. So when things were really shut down here during the pandemic, I missed stand-up because we couldn't do shows out here. And then I had this writing job that was all over Zoom. So I'm like, if I'm Zooming, I could be anywhere.
Right.
And Austin was open doing stand-up. And I go, all right, that'd be cool to just like Zoom right by day and then do stand-up at night. So I know Rogan, and like he was like, "Hey, do you want to do this show at Stubbs?" They were doing outdoor shows. So then, I did that show out in Austin. It was great. Like Chappelle was on it, Michelle Wolf, Rogan. It was so cool just to be, because we didn't have that for so long, to be deprived of it.
Right.
And you have that rapport with an audience, and that fills this. You take away your identity for a bit, and you're like, what am I without stand-up, Right. And then, so it was cool to do it out there. And then when things kind of got back to normal here in LA, then I came back.
So when you go on the road, where are you going to be? You want to mention any place you're going to be?
Yeah. Let's see. Dallas is this weekend. Then
where at the
Addison Improv, and then Wise Guys, Salt Lake City. That is.
Addison's a good club.
Yeah, and then
I did a lot of shows in Addison.
Yeah, I've done it before.
Place.
I like that club. And then I'm doing.
Well, can I tell you a story about this story at Addison? So I knew a Latina girl in Addison, and she said, "My boss is coming with his wife." And she goes, "So can you not use so much profanity because they're I said, "I don't give a fuck if they're fucking religious or not." So they come to the show. I just do my normal show, and after the show we're drinking, and they're starting to loosen up, and we go to a dance club down the street, and they were getting a little bit loose. We were dancing in the middle of the dance floor, and she got on her knees and took that dude's dick out and blew him on the dance floor. And they threw them out, and I said to her, "Oh, I can't say the F word, but she can fucking suck his dick in the middle of a dance floor." And it wasn't even hard. It was like pulling a fucking... It's like getting your sleeve caught in the fucking door and pulling it. It's like fucking this fucking skin right there, and she just pulling like this taffy. You know, you're like, and I look down and you're like, what the fuck? And it just like that was ground zero. Everybody took off, and you just see her right there. They fucking threw him out, man. And the girl was there. They took off driving drunk, and I said, "Oh, I can't say the F word, but she's pulling fucking taffy in the middle of the fucking dance floor."
Shout out Addison, Texas.
Shout out to Addison.
We'll see if that happens
awesome,
when I'm
man.
there.
Crazy shit. There was also a time that there was this girl in the front row in Addison, beautiful, fucking top stripes. I said, hey, it's stripes, you know. So she was with her brother. She was with a dude. And you know you're fucking with her, and she goes, "That's my brother." Like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I fucked my brother too. And then afterwards, we go and have some drinks, and then she comes back to my hotel room, and in the morning I had to go do radio, of course, like Thursday night, Friday, I got to do radio. I said, hey, I'll be back in a couple hours. She goes, okay, I'll be right here. And when I come in the door, it's still dark in there, and she's not around, and I'm like, where did she go? Look at the thing in that bag. Right? I go to the bathroom and I had taken my underwear off and I had shit stains in my underwear. So I think she got up to use the bathroom and saw my fucking underwear.
You had the skid mark, but she hit the road.
Thank you. And I said, why did she leave? I looked down, I was like a fucking melted almond joy in my
Holy shit.
I got nothing about wise guys, only about Addison.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, thanks for coming on.
Of course,
dude.
man. Thanks
It was
for
great to meet you.
having
Nice to
me.
meet you, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate
likewise.
where your heart is,
Thanks, man.
and thank you for loving stand-up, man.
Yeah, same.
And everybody that's out there that listens, go and check my man out.
Yeah,
Please,
and I looked
thank
at the
you,
date too for Wise Guys Salt Lake. That's September 16th,
Yeah,
17th.
and then House of Comedy in October. Just more tour dates at FahimAnwar.com.
Do you take somebody with you, or
Sometimes when I can, you know, I'm
Yeah.
in this in between where sometimes they're like, oh, we want a local person, but then sometimes I can bring a boy out, and it's like nice.
If I'm out there, I'll
Oh, yeah, I
check
would
you
love
out,
to, man.
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome. All right, good.
Awesome. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.